In Part 1, we saw how Hollywood broke some of its brightest stars. In Part 2, we uncover more celebrities who didn't just take a break, they vanished from the spotlight. Number 1, Greta Garbo. Greta Garbo was one of Hollywood's earliest icons. In the 1920s and 30s, she was known for her beauty and mystique. But at age 35, she suddenly quit acting. She had enough of the fame and constant media scrutiny. Garbo wanted privacy. She moved to New York and lived a quiet life until her death in 1990. Unlike many stars, she never returned, never gave interviews, and never explained much. Her exit became part of her legend. Garbo is proof that even in Hollywood's early days, fame could feel overwhelming, and walking away became her final act of control. Number 2, Josh Hartnett. Josh Hartnett was everywhere in the early 2000s. Pearl Harbor, Black Hawk Down, and 40 Days and 40 Nights made him a rising star. But he didn't like what fame was doing to him. Hartnett turned down major roles, including offers to play Superman and Batman. He said the pressure was intense and that he was being pushed into becoming someone he wasn't. He settled into a quieter life, eventually moving to England. He may not be a household name anymore, but Hartnett found happiness and freedom. Number 3, Doris Day. Doris was one of the most beloved actresses and singers of the 1950s and 60s. She had a wholesome image and starred in light-hearted films and popular records, but after her TV show ended in the 1970s, she stepped away completely. Day chose a life away from cameras and microphones. She devoted herself to animal rights activism. She rarely gave interviews and refused to attend award shows. In her later years, she admitted she never truly loved fame. It was something she fell into. For Doris, saving animals was more fulfilling than entertaining people. Number 4, Shelley Duvall. Shelley Duvall gave iconic performances in films like The Shining and Popeye. But the toll of Hollywood life eventually broke her spirit. After facing criticism, on-set abuse, and mental health struggles, Duvall disappeared from the public eye. For years, fans didn't know where she had gone. In 2016, she gave a heartbreaking interview that revealed her deep struggles. Many criticized how the media treated her. Duvall later said she felt abandoned by the industry. She retreated to Texas and lived quietly. Only recently did she start considering a comeback. Her story is a tragic reminder of how Hollywood can discard those it once praised. Number 5, Bridget Fonda. Bridget Fonda was part of a Hollywood dynasty. She starred in hits like Single White Female and Jackie Brown. But after a car accident in 2003, she slowly stepped away. Fonda chose family over fame. She married composer Danny Elfman and decided to focus on raising their child. Since then, she's avoided public life almost entirely. When recently photographed in public after years of absence, she said she had no interest in acting again. Fame, for her, had run its course. Bridget found peace in living anonymously. Number 6, Jack Gleeson. Jack Gleeson became globally known for playing the evil King Joffrey on Game of Thrones. But after his character's dramatic exit, Jack made one of his own. He stepped away from Hollywood. Gleeson said he never really enjoyed the fame that came with acting. He'd done theater as a child for fun. But when acting turned into a job and brought him unwanted attention, it stopped being enjoyable. He went back to school, studied philosophy and theology, and returned to small theater productions. He didn't chase stardom, chose peace and privacy over power and red carpets. Number 7, Sean Connery. Sean Connery was a legend. He's best known for being the original James Bond. After decades of iconic roles, Connery quietly retired in 2003 following The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. He reportedly became disillusioned with Hollywood's politics and the lack of good scripts. Friends said he didn't enjoy acting anymore. Connery spent his final years in the Bahamas, far from cameras and interviews. He never made a return. His departure wasn't loud or dramatic. It was graceful. A quiet goodbye from one of cinema's most enduring stars. Number 8, Monique. Monique's performance in Precious won her an Oscar, but soon after she all but disappeared. What happened? Monique publicly spoke out against how she was treated in the industry. She accused major studios of blackballing her because she refused to promote a film for free. She also called out Netflix for pay inequality. Her outspokenness led to fewer opportunities. Monique didn't back down. She stood by her principles and focused on stand-up comedy, family, and activism. Her story is about integrity and the cost of speaking out in Hollywood. Number 9. Taylor Momsen. Taylor Momsen was a child actor in How the Grinch Stole Christmas and later played Jenny on Gossip Girl. But fame never felt right to her. She said acting was something adults forced her into. She got older. She wanted control. Momsen left the show in Hollywood entirely to form her rock band, The Pretty Reckless. With heavy eyeliner and electric guitars, she reinvented herself. Music gave her a voice that acting never did. She's now a successful musician who left acting behind without regret. Number 10. Angus T. Jones. Angus T. Jones was the half in 2.5 Men. He was one of the highest-paid child actors on TV, but at the height of the show's success, he did something unexpected. He denounced the show publicly, calling it filth and expressing regret about his role. Jones had become deeply religious and felt the content clashed with his beliefs. He soon left the show and stepped out of Hollywood altogether. In later interviews, he expressed confusion and discomfort about growing up on TV. Today, he keeps a low profile and has shifted focus to his spiritual and personal growth. Number 11. Elizabeth Hurley. Elizabeth Hurley was a 1990s icon model, actress, and tabloid fixture. But in recent years, she's taken a step back from big Hollywood productions. Instead of chasing roles, she spends time running her swimwear business and living on her countryside estate in England. She occasionally takes acting jobs, but on her terms. She once said she preferred being home with her son and dogs than being on a red carpet. Hollywood may remember her as a style icon, but Elizabeth Hurley is happier living far from the spotlight. Number 12. Michael Schoeffling. Michael Schoeffling became a heartthrob after playing Jake Ryan in 16 Candles. But after a few more roles, he vanished. Fans wondered what happened. The truth was simple: he didn't like acting. The roles stopped coming, and he didn't fight to stay in the industry. Instead, he moved to Pennsylvania and opened a woodworking shop. He built furniture and raised a family, far from paparazzi and press. Schoeffling never returned to Hollywood. Number 13. Thora Birch. Thora Birch was a rising star in the late 90s and early 2000s, with films like American Beauty and Ghost World, but as she reached adulthood, her career stalled. Part of the issue was behind-the-scenes trouble. Her father, who was also her manager, reportedly clashed with directors and producers. This reputation led to fewer roles. Thora stepped away from big productions and took time to reassess her goals. In later years, she began directing and occasionally acting in smaller projects. Though not gone entirely, her presence in Hollywood dramatically faded by choice and by circumstance. Number 14. Gene Hackman. Gene Hackman was a powerhouse actor with a career spanning 5 decades. But in 2004, after Welcome to Mooseport, he retired from acting. There was no major announcement. He simply stopped. Hackman later said he wanted to enjoy life without the pressure of scripts, sets, and studios. He turned to writing novels and living quietly with his wife in New Mexico. He rarely gives interviews and avoids the spotlight completely. For Hackman, life after Hollywood was peaceful, creative, and fulfilling in a different way. Number 15. Eva Mendes. Eva Mendes was one of the most glamorous actresses of the 2000s. With films like Hitch, The Place Beyond the Pines, and Training Day, she was poised for long-term stardom. But after starting a family with Ryan Gosling, Mendes quietly stepped away. She said she didn't want to leave her children for months to shoot movies. Mendes also didn't like the roles she was being offered. Instead, she focused on being a mom and growing her fashion brand. Though still connected to the industry through Gosling, Mendes has made it clear her family comes first. We often think staying in the spotlight is the dream, but for many, leaving it is the real triumph. Whether it was Eva Mendes walking away for her family or Gene Hackman, retiring on his own terms, these stars made the hardest choice to stop. Their stories prove that life after Hollywood can be just as powerful as any blockbuster. In the end, they didn't just leave the screen. They reclaimed their lives. And maybe that's the greatest role they ever played.